guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Carm and this is the Wildflower channel. So currently we are on day, I don't even know, 50 something of quarantine, which means I've been in the house a lot, hence the very plain appearance, which I'm actually totally fine with, you guys. It actually hasn't been super hard for me to stay in the house. I get to work from home and stuff like that. But while I've been here, I've definitely been doing some assessments of the things that I want to do on the other side of this when we come out of this. And one of the things that's been on my heart a lot has been photography. If you watched a few of my other videos, I've talked some about things that I've photographed and techniques and stuff like that. I even did like a small video on me doing like a self-portrait out in the woods sometime last fall. But I know that one of my goals is to take photography for myself to the next level. Currently, I would be definitely considered a hobbyist by most people, but for me, y'all, it's a side hustle. But also, more importantly than it being a side hustle, photography is one of the gifts the Lord has given me that I really like to use. And my first love, honestly, is like international freelance stuff. I started doing photography on the mission field. And when I was traveling, I would take photos of people and things while I was traveling and post about it to talk about like the missions journey or to bring awareness to different things. While I'm here in the States though, for the most part, I do portraits for people or different things to help people with their personal business. So a lot of people call me if they're like, hey, I need a couple headshots for a flyer or for my website or whatever like that. And then in the meantime, I just kind of take pictures of things that I enjoy. I really like doing self-portraits because with self-portraits, I really have to stretch myself. And I also get to get good shots of myself. Currently, I shoot with a Canon 6D, and I also talked about that in a previous video as well. I personally love my camera, and I haven't invested in a newer model yet because I am a full believer in you need to use what you have first and maximize that. And B, photography itself, you guys, is not about the equipment. I actually was watching clips from a masterclass by Ann Leibovitz, and she was saying that if you focus so much on the semantics of photography, if you focus so much on like numbers and equipment and stuff like that, then you're not focused on taking photos. So normally I don't really get into buying brand new expensive equipment all the time. As long as what I have is doing the job, then I kind of stay put with that. And I've been doing photography for 7 years now. Yeah, I believe it's been 7 years that I've been doing it. But with that being said, I felt like because I had really maximized my 50mm lens as much as I could, it was time for me to invest in another lens. So I started doing my research because if you know anything about photography, it is very, very expensive for the most part to invest in newer equipment. Lights are expensive, lenses are expensive, camera bodies are expensive, external flashes are expensive, like everything is super expensive. If you can buy one piece of equipment for $100, you got away super duper duper cheap. So when I started thinking about getting a new lens, I knew I didn't want to take the decision lightly. So I actually took a few months to do my research on what I wanted and also to kind of pray and allow the Lord to open up the right door for me to get this equipment. But I did my research, you guys, and I got a lens that I think I'm going to love. I'm going to show you guys. So the first thing that I want to say is my equipment is still in the box because once again, we've been on quarantine, so I have not been out to use my equipment yet. And it says that it is the EOS PowerShot. What is that? Vixia? EOS PowerShot Vixia. That is actually not what's in this box at all. So I want to let you guys know that I bought this lens from Canon and it's refurbished. So I'm assuming that is why it came in a box. That is not what it actually is because it's refurbished. And they probably just use boxes that they have lying around. I'm assuming the box itself is definitely brand new. Like, but it came in a box that is not what it is. So I got this in the mail a couple weeks ago. And it is a 24 to 70 millimeter lens. It is a f2.8 and it is the second series. First, I'll show you guys the lens and then I'll explain a little bit about it. So what I've learned about buying equipment, I had to do my research on what it meant to buy something refurbished. What I learned from Canon specifically is a lot of times when something is refurbished, it's because it really wasn't used and it was just like immediately returned to Canon, and they just have to literally send it through all of this rigorous testing to make sure it's like seriously a perfect lens still, and then they can put it back on the market and send it out. But refurbished for them means that it's not like it's gonna break down tomorrow, whereas like if you buy something on eBay or something like that that was pre-owned by a person, unless they've had the lens tested and looked at, you never really know what you're gonna get with the lens. So I felt a lot better buying the lens from Canon than I did buying it from somebody who was reselling it, and it was a little bit cheaper to buy it from Canon refurbished than it was to buy it brand new somewhere else. So that was another reason why I made that decision. So the lens comes in like all this bubble wrap and stuff like that to keep it safe, obviously. And then it came in this bag. I don't know if that is the original packaging or whatever for the lens, but yeah, so I'm gonna show you guys what's inside. Now you guys, this might not look like much, but this lens is a smooth $1,600 on the internet. I paid a couple $100 less than that because like I said, I got mine refurbished, but this is a very expensive piece of equipment right here. This lens actually costs more than I believe I paid for my body a few years ago. And my camera body right now would probably be much cheaper because I wanna say I got it like 3 or 4 years ago, but this lenses versus camera bodies, yeah, they can come out with like newer, faster, better lenses, but it's more likely that camera bodies, I think, will come out before lenses will. And so this lens has been around for quite some time. And like I said, I'll explain some of the specifications of it, but I just want to show you guys. So it's pretty girthy. It's pretty big. It probably weighs a couple pounds. I mean, maybe not a couple pounds, maybe like a pound or something like that, but it's much heavier than most lenses. So when you use this lens, you're gonna feel it. As you can see, it's much bigger than a lot of lenses. And so when I'm talking about putting it on my camera body and being able to hold it up, I'm gonna need a lot more arm power to hold this thing than I had before. Now, the thing about the 24 to 70 millimeter lens, there's a few different versions of this lens. First of all, you can get the 4.0, and I did not get the 4.0 because if I was going to invest in a lens, I wanted to get the better lens. So the 2.8 of those two is definitely the better lens. And so I also got the second series of this lens because the first series was just the older version. And so this is the lens, you guys. Now, I will say that this lens is a USM lens, which means that it's not IS. IS means image stabilization, which means when you're shooting something and say you're moving while you're shooting, an IS lens is usually, as a photographer, what you want because it's gonna stabilize that image if you're taking a picture and you're moving. USM lenses, they don't have that in there. You need to be pretty steady when you're taking pictures with the USM lens. But the thing about this particular lens, it doesn't come in image stabilization yet. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if Canon will make it that way at some point. And so that was one of the things that I actually really had to take into consideration. Did I want to invest in a lens that didn't have image stabilization that was so expensive? But you guys, the reviews that I've read on this thing have been phenomenal. Jessica Kobasi, if you don't know her, you should follow her YouTube page. I literally shout her out because I like her quirky, funny personality, but I also honestly just really like her photography. She shoots with this lens and she does fashion shots with this lens. So if it's good enough for Jessica Kobasi, Honey, this lens is good enough for me. The other reason why this lens is so expensive and I also wanted to buy it is because with it being a 24 to 70 millimeter lens, that means that it's not fixed. So a lot of times when you're investing in a lens, you're gonna want to invest in fixed lenses. There are some photographers, you guys, who only will shoot with fixed lenses. Me, for example, up until now, I've only shot with a 50 millimeter lens. I haven't shot with anything else because I could never afford a zoom lens that was the quality and the grade that I wanted. But fixed lenses are cheaper because you're only gonna get that one focal point. So no matter what I'm doing, I only have the 50 millimeters to work with. But in this lens, I have 24 to 70 millimeters to work with. This means that I'm gonna be able to shoot things like events and weddings and stuff like that much easier. And although I'm gonna have to be a lot more steady in my shot because it doesn't have image stabilization, I'm gonna be able to take photos from further away and closer up that I wasn't able to take before. Y'all should have seen me. Up until now, shooting every event, I am moving around all over the place. And obviously, as a photographer, you know, you have to move around. You gotta get on the floor sometimes. Sometimes you gotta climb up in trees. You gotta get dirty. But the amount that I had to move around shooting with the fixed lens, and let's be honest, you probably really shouldn't be shooting events at all with a 50 millimeter lens. There were times that I would borrow a friend's 70 to 200 to shoot certain weddings, which this starts at 70, so that will give you much more zoom than this will. But this is gonna be a tremendous amount of help to me moving forward. And so I put this lens on my camera and I tested it out just a little bit in my room. I would post those shots for you guys, but the only reason why I'm not is because I really would rather give you guys a full review of this lens once I actually get out and get to use it in an environment where I am challenged as a photographer and really put this thing to the test and show you guys what it can do. But today, I just wanted to unbox it and show you guys how pretty it is. That's all I have for you guys today. Comment below and let me know if you have any questions. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.